Good afternoon. Our politicians have been taught along the way that it is important that their message be tailored to reach a broad audience. And unfortunately, that all too often means lowest common denominator speak. This sort of terminology is used at the box office as well, and so I feel a fairly accurate reflection of this communication rule of thumb in what movies are said to be blockbusters, and who ends up being cast as our Republican or Democratic nominee. This is a very frustrating thing all around. It's a chicken and the egg argument, or at least has been at some point in history. Is the message simple because of the audience, or is the audience simple because of the message? But now, and this is a tricky part, I feel like the rule of thumb has become a secondary or tertiary consideration, and the primary method of mainstream politicking is more subversive than reaching the broadest possible audience. There is now a subtle conditioning of that mass audience, and it is certainly not to deepen mass intellectual understanding or critical reasoning. There is a programming built into the box office, and it wasn't always there, and it isn't designed to be considered consciously. In movie advertising, for example, there's a such thing as product placement. And it's sort of a subversive thing. But now what we see is product placement for the mind. The product isn't Coke or Pepsi necessarily anymore. It's far deeper. It is social programming, cultural norms, unspoken rules about sexual etiquette, or what perhaps can get by as PG-13 these days. And these ideas are intentionally being placed in the background, not in the conscious foreground of the media. We are no longer debating about whether or not the issue at hand is accepted or rejected. Sexual modesty, for example. It is just a minor plot detail that the heroine in the latest summer feel-good comedy has slept with multiple partners and is still the pure one of the depicted group of friends. So with the political landscape, I feel it is subliminal and subversive that this November we have two mainstream candidates. No independents. No third option in the debate. We have a millionaire Mormon or an Ivy League incumbent. The illusion of a choice is presented to a free society, and critical thinking is not encouraged. Mass appeal is something to consider in politics and media, but now I see, as plain as day, a subversive attempt to mold the mainstream into a programming stream. The programmers are not interested in debate about the program itself. At best, it is a collection of corporate interests and world leaders who are responsible for the program. And if it is more contrived than the natural emergence of the capitalist big fish, media moguls, and big league politicians, then we're in even more trouble as a society. That's the way I see it. With the summer well behind us, we are still feeling the effects of the Duluth flood back in late June. Several animals died at the Duluth Zoo, and the zoo is still under fire from it. 6 sheep and 4 goats died. 6 sheep and 4 goats died at the zoo during the flooding that devastated northeastern Minnesota. The workers were not allowed back into the zoo due to safety issues. They didn't want to risk any human lives during such a horrible storm. After the flood, U.S. Department of Agriculture cited the zoo for inadequate shelter for farm animals. But after the recent inspection, it seems the zoo is up to par with the USDA standards. So it looks like Duluth Zoo won't be going anywhere for a while. The Price is Right has been known for having women models displaying the extravagant prizes, but now there is finally, after 40 years, a male production, a male model. I'm terrible at reading the news, huh? What are they